Man, look at that turnaround from the bubble. You were a mess the last time you were on this show. Now you look fantastic.
Amazing.
And let's get right to it because big day today. The NBA officially released the first half of the schedule for the 2020-21 season. A few highlights for the Lakers. December 22nd, Brez. It's opening night against the Clippers. Christmas, Luka and the Mavs. MLK Day, the Warriors, February 20th. Finals rematch against the Miami Heat. So a breakdown of the Lakers' schedule. 37 games in the first half of the season. 19 at home, 18 on the road, 5 back-to-backs. That longest road trip of the first half, 7 games. That's going to be in late January. Longest homestand is 5. That's in February. Preseason games begin in just 7 days. Regular season, less than 3 weeks away. Head coach Frank Vogel is quite aware of how quick the turnaround has been.
Our first big challenge of the year is trying to strike that balance the right way. We want to make sure that we're easing guys in that did not have a normal offseason. The guys that basically are returning from playing in the championship last year with our team. We don't want to overdo it early with those guys, but at the same time, the games are coming up very quickly. So we also don't want to ease in so much that we make them vulnerable for those games to injury. So we're going to have to on a day-to-day basis try to strike that balance, not overdo it early and make them vulnerable to injuries in camp, while still getting them ready so that they're not vulnerable when the games come around. The thing about the pandemic is most teams are not able to play the normal, month of pickup games, that everybody's used to coming into a camp. You get all the bumps and bruises and those things underway before camp even begins. And then the intensity level increases when camp begins. So without that, again, we're just going to have to keep a close eye on the ramp up, to getting these guys ready to play. We got to get them moving. With training camp intensity. We got to get them playing live basketball with training camp intensity, but we got to do it probably in small doses early and just try to build it up as we get closer to the regular season.
Okay, as mentioned, under 3 weeks until the season starts. The Lakers will play 5 times in December, 4 at home to start the season. That's nice. The opener against the Clippers. Of course, Luka and the Mavericks on Christmas. Back-to-back, T-Wolves come into town, followed by Dame time and the Blazers on the 28th. They finish out 2020 on the road against the San Antonio Spurs, guys. And as Vogel mentioned, it's not going to be easy for the team. Not a lot of time, but everyone's kind of operating under the same guidelines. But for the Lakers, guys, they played until mid-October. So, Brez, Kyle, I'll ask you guys this. How does Frank Vogel and this team navigate first month or so with the guys who just got done playing and are tired and the new pieces that have to get integrated?
Yeah, 2 words. Very carefully. I mean, no doubt he's going to kind of appeal to LeBron. LeBron, what do you want to do? How are you feeling? Are you feeling fresh? Do you need some time off? Do you want to play? Just reduce minutes. Same thing for AD. Look, Frank Vogel knows these guys went very, very deep into the playoffs. And I guess one good good piece of news from the schedule, right, 3 of the first 4 games, kind of tough. Clippers, Dallas, Portland, probably some playoff teams there. But then the next few weeks after that, it gets pretty breezy. 3 games against the Spurs. Chicago is in there. OKC. A couple games against Houston, whatever they're going to be. What's John Wall going to be doing? So the first week might be a little tough, but then some time to kind of slowly get these guys reacclimated to the NBA game.
Remember, Kyle, last year's team was driven. They had had a lot of time off. The new pieces came in, instant chemistry, everyone on the same page. What's the challenge this year with finding that chemistry?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be tough because precisely what we're describing. You have that mix of guys who are going to need to be integrated slowly. And then you have some guys, some younger guys like Montrezl Harrell and Dennis Schroeder who, have had a little time to play pickup and train and do some of that months of off-season work that a lot of players do. I mean, some of these guys haven't even played pickup games. Markieff Morris the other day said, I think I picked a basketball up for the first time since the bubble last week. So the challenge is really going to be, can we get to a place in the next, 2-3 weeks until the opener on December 22nd, where the new guys and the guys who are returning are doing about the same amount of work and be able to play just as hard as each other.
And Brez, let's take a look at the 7-game road trip. Is that formerly known as the Grammy?
The
trip
Grammy trip.
To go on? That was always
absolutely.
a long one. Facing some of the best the East has to offer in the Bucks, the 76ers, and the Celtics, and the new look Hawks. They'll see their good friend Rajon Rondo. It's never an easy trip, right? It's going to be different this time, obviously.
Yeah, I've been on, 12 or 13 of these trips, and it's usually freezing cold. And it's tough to go in and out of these arenas, fans or no fans. It's really going to test them. You know, a lot of teams are kind of made or broken on trips like this. That's not the Lakers' case. We know they're going to make the playoffs, but maybe some seeding could be at stake right around that point. They're going to be among the top 2 in the West, or maybe kind of lagging off the lead at 4 or 5. Some really good games. Can't wait to see them play, in particular, against the Milwaukee Bucks. That's going to be awesome.
And Kyle, I'm sure when you got the schedule back in the day, you would look immediately at the long road trips. What does that mean to you now and what your job is?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough. I mean, especially when you layer on everything going on with, state and local ordinances of quarantining and what's required. And in my case, as a beat writer, I would travel commercially in a normal year. And right now, if you travel commercially, and if I got a positive test on the road, what are the options there? So that's definitely something. And I anticipate it's going to be a lot harder to travel in that way. But there's some trips that might be picked out, maybe surgical more than doing a long run in the Grammy trip. So it'll be interesting to see how that develops, and hopefully how much safer the world can become in the next 12 months.
Well said. The schedule release was big news, but obviously the biggest news for the Lakers was AD signing for 5 more years. The Brow gets a max contract. Here's how the numbers break down. Starting this season, Davis will make $32.7 million. It goes up every year from there. A total of 5 years, $190 million, Brez. AD will have a player option for the 2024-25 season. That's at $43.2 million. That's pretty good. Davis spoke with the media on Friday and let it be known he was always coming back to the Lake Show.
Yeah, it wasn't a matter of, was I coming back or not. I think it was just more so, figuring out, the contract length. It was more so just trying to figure out what's best for me and my family, trying to figure out, do I want to do a long-term deal, short-term. I just, figured, this is the place I want to be. I don't plan on, anywhere. As you can see, I'll be here for the next 5 years. So I just thought it was best for me to just go ahead and lock it in. And it's tough not to be in LA and play for an organization, especially when you just won a championship, and a lot of people say the toughest to win. So I just want to be here. I want to be here. My family wants to be here. I love this organization. I love the coaching staff that we have. And they're always product on the floor to be able to be for a championship. So I just figured, why not be here?
Can you just get more into the decision process and why 5 years? Because obviously you had some other options available to you to maybe go a couple of years and then come back into free agency when there could be a larger salary cap.
Yeah, I thought about that, and that could have been a, 2-year, 3-year deal. But like I said before, I want to be here long term. It's a great organization. I just felt like that was the best option for me. And then, I have to think about also, the reality of things too. I do have a little history with injuries, and a 2-year deal, you kind of bet on yourself. Do I get to that? God forbid, knock on wood, something happens, things like that. So, you want to secure the most. I want to secure the most amount of years possible, and be here long term with this team. So I thought the 5-year deal was best for me in my situation.
I just want to get your thoughts, your own personal goals for this upcoming season.
It's really hard for me to kind of set goals like MVP, DPOY. I just kind of let that happen. I just like to let those things just fall into place. If I go out there and play the way I'm supposed to and up to my potential, then those things just happen. But, a goal is to win another championship. I want to be the part of our defense. My goal is just, to be on the floor as much as possible, doing whatever I can do to help the team.
I got good news. AD believes in the team. Obviously, some insurance because of health and just being smart, like he alluded to, and he took that max contract for $190 million. Means he has faith in this organization. Brez, Kyle, what a great day for the Lakers.
Yeah, just listening to that Zoom chat today, I thought it was very impressive what he said. He said, I've had a lot of teammates in the past. Never was on a team so close as last season. He really enjoyed being on this team, whether it was kind of learning next to LeBron James or having fun with Jared Dudley. Kuz is kind of a wild, unpredictable guy. Probably had fun kind of talking to the young guy a lot. He really enjoyed being with this franchise and on this team. Helps win a championship. He looks pretty happy right there, too. But I really take him at his word. And also the fact that he said, hey, I've had some injury problems in the past, so I'm just going to take the 5 years now. And who's happy about it? Everybody in that Laker organization, no doubt.
Kyle, it's hard to fathom he could be even better. He had a monster year last year. It ends holding the Larry O'Brien trophy. He was the top 2 defensive player in the league. A lot of us thought he should have won that award. Do you have even greater expectations for him this year coming off a championship?
Yeah, and I think Jared Dudley probably outlined the best expectations is that, hey, Anthony Davis should go win MVP. And we know he's one of the best two-way players. Obviously, just being on the Defensive Player of the Year award list while being a 26 point per game scorer. I mean, that tells you the story right there. So I think that's part of it. AD's right in that, if he does everything right, that will take care of itself. But, I mean, the guy can be more assertive, and we can see him maybe take more of an equal stature in that partnership with LeBron James. He knows how to win now. He doesn't need to be taught that. I expect him to kind of take a step up in that category this season as well.
Yeah, I like to see more game-winning threes. You think that might be a possibility? I mean, the guy was so dynamic in the bubble, did it in a couple different playoff rounds. I think kind of a little bit of both. Like, there'll be games where you can kind of tail off a little bit. The Lakers are better on paper than they were a year ago. So he can kind of say, you know what, go ahead, Montrez. Go ahead, Schroeder. You guys do some scoring. Kind of like LeBron before last season said, AD, I want the offense to run through you. Hey, he's still going to be a top 5 player. He can just kind of sit out a few games, worry-free. Maybe, hopefully for his sake, sit out some fourth quarters if the Lakers have comfortable leads, because this team is better, so he can be a little more efficient and maybe not play as many games or even as many minutes per game.
He and LeBron proved it last year. They can play an entire season. They can play every single game. They only missed a couple. So this year, I assume there'll be more load management, especially coming off just a few weeks, it seems like. All right, some more Laker news. I want you guys to weigh in on this. After being waived, Quinn Cook has re-signed with the Lakers. Cook's a 2-time champ. He won 1 with the Warriors, 1 with the Lakers last year. Averaged over 5 points a game, shot 43% from the field last season. He also was notably left behind at the arena after the Lakers won the title. Instagram gold right there. Kyle, jump in on this. Brez and I talked about it yesterday. Jared Dudley's really important to this team because of the chemistry, new guys coming into the locker room. Quinn Cook, you can make an argument, just as important from that standpoint.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Quinn's a guy who is just super likable, super engaging. I kind of remember last year at an Anthony Davis event where there were a lot of people milling around. Quinn Cook was just sort of one of the people around. I mean, and was doing Papa Shot with a bunch of college kids or something. He's just a guy who likes to hang out, is very normal, engages people on social media, talks for hours about DC pickup games. He's just a likable culture setter and a guy who gets along in any locker room, knows a lot of people around the league, is well liked by the people in the league, and can come in and hit some shots every once in a while.
And Brez, he's the Madden defending champion on this team. That's important.
That's huge. You know, a lot of bragging rights at stake, and X's
the
and
real
O's.
Title defense.
the real defense. Some X's and O's real quick. This is the type of guy you can kind of plug in there if a Schroeder has a game off, or again, if AD or LeBron say, you know, we're not going to play this game in Charlotte in March or April. Let's get some scorers out there. Quinn Cook could be pretty early off that bench.
I love what Rob in the front office has done, putting these kind of pieces with the superstar talent that they have. All right, still to come. Lakers, Rob Pelinka has put the Lakers back in a position to once again lift.
So carry forward the torch with AD, lining up with his age. I think Schroeder's a great example of that. Obviously, Montrez, another great example, just lining up with AD's age. And I think we want to strive to try to keep our young players that we have on this team. We like the core. We like how it lines up. And I think Dennis, Kyle, Kuzma is up for an extension. These are things that we're continuing to focus on, but we like how the team got younger, faster, and our intention would be to try to keep that identity and that core together.
Rob, if I could start you just with your thoughts on the impact of LeBron and AD's signing and, you know, committing to future years with the franchise. What is the biggest thing that you take out of that and what that means?
I think probably the word trust. You know, I think AD and LeBron, I think, share a common quality with us of just being about the work and trusting the work. And I think yesterday when we got the commitment from both of those players, it was just a great day that was defined by the trust we've built in the relationships with those guys.
I was wondering to the extent that you can talk to us about those discussions and that decision process to get LeBron under contract through 2023. What was important to you?
It wasn't even a debate for us. It was something that was very clear. And we think he's going to be effective and provide extraordinary value for every year he decides to play as a Laker. And I think what was especially satisfying and exciting about this is I think that now you can see with the legacy he's establishing as a Laker that his greatness will be defined here. And I'm sure he'll hang many jerseys someday, but we hope one of those will be a Lakers jersey.
So now that LeBron has won a title, I ask you guys this. He's most likely to end his career here. Will we see LeBron's jersey in the rafters one day, Press?
I think we will, you know, especially if he wins one more championship over the next few years, which I think is going to happen. And even if he doesn't, you know, what a great debate. And I think it ends with, yes, he will get that jersey up among there with the Laker greats. I mean, Kobe has two of them, but why not give one to LeBron, too? I mean, pretty soon the Lakers will be in the triple digits for some new players down the road. But, you know, I think other players would be honored by this. Cedric Ceballos, Lou Williams, Stu Lance wore number 23. And, of course, one of your favorite players, Geet Von Wafer, also wore number 23.
Wow, that's a deep dive you just went into right there.
I think at the very least, LeBron is definitely on pace to get that jersey retired up there. Also in Cleveland and Miami, too.
I was going to say Cleveland and Miami, too.
Quite a few places.
What do you think, Kyle? You see it going that way?
Yeah, well, first of all, great question by that last reporter to get that. Wow, tremendous surgical question there. Yeah, I think it's obvious. I think LeBron sealed his jersey when he won the championship. And it's not just championship because the Lakers obviously have many. They have 17, and LeBron doesn't begin to stack up against the best Lakers in that category. But I just think of where the franchise was before LeBron decides to walk into cap space, decides to come, decides to bring his talents. And from there, every good thing that's happened in the last 2 years has come from that decision. Anthony Davis wanted to be in LA because LeBron was there and you could compete. He guided them through this really challenging time with the pandemic and into the bubble championship. And now going long term, as many as 5 years and maybe more, I think it's undoubted that he'll one day have a jersey hanging up.
Yeah, great point, Kyle. And also, let's not forget, in 2016, Kobe Bryant's last year, this team won 17 games. Yeah. And Kobe had to drag them to that 17 with his big 60-point outburst against Utah. So what a turnaround in just a few short years. LeBron, a big reason, if not the reason why.
And also, guys, the Lakers, Kyle, they did get younger in Schroeder and Harrell. I mean, are these the type of players you can see running alongside AD in the future?
Yeah, and I think that's definitely part of Rob's thinking. Dennis Schroeder is up for a new contract next summer, and I think, part of the idea when you bring in a guy like that, when you trade a guy like Danny Green and a draft pick, you're thinking, well, I can get more out of this than just 1 year of Dennis Schroeder, and if we win, maybe he's going to make a similar decision as AD did. You see the new contract for KCP. He's about AD's age, and in for the next 3 years, you can extend Kyle Kuzma if you guys figure out a term before the season starts. And obviously Montrez on the hook for the next 2 years. There's options to be young at the core around AD.
Prez, how important is it to put some youth around AD and LeBron so you're not only planning for the present and making a run, but you also got an eye on the future a little bit?
Well, that was a great graphic. 10 guys under the age of 28 right now. Last year's team had 9 guys over 31 or over by the time the season ended. So you're getting a lot younger overnight. And again, Kuz for Rob Pelinka across the board. He had very little trade capital, not a lot of draft picks to throw away because he's traded so many already over the next several years. To make this team that much younger, that much faster, that much more appealing, really impressive work by him.
All right, guys, still to come. The Brow had back with Kobe and Pau a decade ago. The Heat with LeBron got it done 2012, 2013. And the latest team to do it, the Warriors, back in 2017, 2018. The Brow got his first taste at a title, and the way he sees it, the Lakers have what it takes to get it done again.
We're going to be great defensively this year, and that's what we lay our hats on. And I think that's what's going to help us, repeat, continue to be a defensive-minded team. And I think the guys that we brought in, their roles on teams have been, to lock down defensively and guard some of the best guys at their position. So coming here and being a part of a team who wants to play defense, I think is going to help our team tremendously.
We're going to have to be even better. The first thing you have to understand about going into a repeat is that it's going to be harder than the year before. The bullseye is going to be bigger, and we played longer than everybody else, had a shorter offseason than everybody else. So the odds are stacked against us from that standpoint. And the identity of what and who we were last year has got to be repeated. If we're going to try to repeat as champions, we've got to have the defense mindset. That's going to be the first message of day one of camp. And, togetherness, sharing the basketball and selflessness. Those two things were pillars for us last year. And, that'll have to be the same for this year.
As a champion, you're going to get everyone's best shot. Everyone's coming after you. You have a target on your back. So I think you're going to find that motivation. I think we have a bunch of new guys too who want that, who want to compete for a championship, who wants to win a championship. So I think we'll be fine in that sense. But it is hard to go out there, in a quick turnaround to compete at a high level and try to, reclaim the title again. But I think we have, the mindset, the coaching staff, the players to make sure that we're able to do so.
The NBA season, it's quickly approaching. 37 games have been announced for the purple and gold to their quest to repeat. Time for some rank 'em. A little different now.
You love this game.
I do love this game. I used to like the touch screen, but we don't have that going on right now. So you guys are going to rank first half of the schedule, 3 games, your top 3. Brez, we're going to go with number 3, games to watch. Give us your third.
Yeah, I'm going to go a little bit into the first half of the schedule. I'm going to go at Denver in February. Kind of a nice little where are they now? Kind of a check-in point for the Lakers as we get close to the halfway point. Obviously, a pretty fun West Conference Finals. Denver lost a couple guys, picked up some guys. Lakers, dramatically different. And, Phil Jackson used to always say, you don't know much about your team until about 2 months into the regular season. That's going to be right around this point.
Yeah.
Almost
like that 6-week mark, right?
Yeah.
You know who you are.
Exactly. He always said that right around Christmas was a pretty good indicator of what you got. And Christmas comes in December, which is where we're starting the season pretty much. So I'll take this game in February against Denver.
Good choice. What about for you, Kyle?
Yeah, just as a spoiler, I'm not picking any games in the first 2 or 3 weeks for the Lakers. But the game that I think is going to be the first significant challenge is at Milwaukee on January 21st. The Bucks have done some retooling and did not get Bogdanovich. I think that would have really pushed them into the sphere that the Lakers are in right now. But, that we'll see what Giannis wants to do and how motivated he is and how much that team changes with Drew Holiday. And I'm really excited to see what that matchup of potential title favorites is like.
Brez, number 2.
Kyle's number 3 is my number 2. I also like this Bucks game. Remember the Lakers last year in Milwaukee? Not their best showing. LeBron had trouble shooting, and the Bucks ended up winning.
Giannis was a three-point threat that night, too.
There you go. Yeah, Giannis is actually hitting threes. A lot has changed in the world since then, but I want to see how the Lakers do against my preseason favorite to win the East. As Kyle said, the Bucks could have been a little bit more strong than they really are, but I do like that Drew Holiday pickup for sure.
Huge for them. All right, Kyle Goon, number 2.
Yeah, sliding over to maybe the other title favorite in the East, Miami Heat. They're coming to L.A. In February, I believe. Yeah, so that should be a good one. They've retooled a little bit, but obviously you just want to see what kind of growth you get out of young guys like Bam, out of Tyler Hero, and what Jimmy Butler's still bringing to the table if you can find that finals energy for the regular season.
Remember, they were, a 5th seed? Last year, right? Going into the bubble and caught fire. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they come out. All right, Brez, your number 1 game to watch in the first half of the season.
Well, I disagree with Kyle. I'm picking a game in the first 2 weeks. In fact, I'm going to take Lakers-Clippers right off the bat.
Oh, Brez, come on.
Too soon? Too soon? I mean, hey, LeBron might have played all of 11 seconds in the preseason, but I want to see where these guys are. I want to see what he looks like. I want to see what AD looks like. How is Schroeder and Montrez in a Laker uniform? How are the Clippers? The last we saw them, there was yet another monumental collapse in the second round. How are they looking?
Motivated, new coach?
Yeah, a lot of new things for them, a lot of new things for the Lakers. One game, the first is 72, but I'm always excited to see them no matter what time of year they play. Why not make it opening night?
Kyle Goon, number 1.
Yeah, on just a more solemn note, this game really stuck out to me when I looked at the schedule. January 27th, the Lakers are going to the Philadelphia 76ers. Last year in Philadelphia, the game before Kobe Bryant died. Obviously, it's just such a unique spot because it's Kobe's hometown. And I'll just never forget just the tragedy of just feeling just a lot of contemplation about Kobe, his career, his place in NBA history, and then to lose him as we did. So, I think it's going to be obviously a solemn game, but hopefully a special game. Getting national TV play, and I think there will be something to look forward to out of that.
Well done, guys. 6 great Classic and City Edition jerseys for the upcoming season. Look for the upcoming season here, paying homage to when the franchise made the move to L.A. in 1960. You like those, Brez, or
Love
what?
Love them. Love the color scheme. I think it's going to be a really cool jersey, and off to the right start by getting Elgin. I wish I'd seen more of him play. We grew up in the 70s, Geet, and 80s. Just didn't get a lot of Elgin time. More of Kareem and Magic connection there. But what a great start for introducing these jerseys.
Kyle, you like the blue or the white?
Personally, I don't love teams getting tremendously out of their color range, but I think the video was a little bit more endearing too. So I think overall, all things considered, I like the white a little more, but I don't love teams like. I mean, it's purple and gold. It's such a good combination. Like, why get too far out of it? But
I mean, thanks for coming around, Debbie Downer.
Get off my lawn while you're at
it. All right, listen. Hoop Central Twitter account sent out a question asking fans to name an NBA player you think will take a giant leap this season. LeBron James responded with Kyle Kuzma. Listen, guys, Kuz hears the noise. There are expectations. We talk a lot about it on the show, especially with the young core all being traded away and him staying a Laker. This is a vote of confidence from LeBron. What's the significance of this, in your opinion, Brez?
I think LeBron is looking ahead to the games where, people might be sitting out for rest purposes, and he's saying Kuz is going to be that guy. He's going to get opportunities this year. Maybe last year was a bit of an adjustment for Kuz. He was no longer the most favored player by LeBron on the Lakers. Not a lot of long-distance connections, easy buckets for Kuz from LeBron. That went to AD for obvious reasons. Kuz, though, is going to get a little bit more chance to spread his wings, actually. I think there's going to be some times where LeBron sits out. Remember last year, back in January, game against OKC, a very good team. No LeBron, no AD, no problem. Kyle Kuzma scored 36 points. That might happen again, especially early in the season, those type of chances for Kuz.
Kyle, I feel like I spend a lot of time kind of defending Kuz because I think the expectations sometimes aren't realistic. Bottom line, he's a guy that when LeBron or AD don't play, he gets 20. That's just the truth. You can look at the stats. So there's value in that with the type of guy that when he gets the volume, he can score. But when those guys are healthy, he just has to fit a role. And that's what he had to learn how to do last year. Where do you come out on the expectations for Kuz?
Yeah, I think it's tricky. I actually take a slightly more cynical view of LeBron's endorsement of Kuz in that, he's up for an extension. They might not reach it. He might be a restricted free agent next year. Although I think the Lakers should look in his value because, as we're talking about, I mean, he's a valuable role player. He can start. He can play a little defense. He can shoot a little bit, although he has to shoot better next year. So he has those signs and some of those tools that the Lakers are really going to need at the right age and perhaps the right price. So I think this is LeBron's way of saying, hey, stay invested. Your teammates believe in you. You may be coming up against some contract stuff in the next year that will feel uncomfortable and the noise may continue, but stay with it, and we believe in you.
Brez, he's a streaky guy. If he gets consistent from that three-point line, what can that do for him?
That's the key. I mean, regular season last year, 32%, actually dropped down the playoffs to 31%. Remember, a great rookie year behind the arc, never quite found that stroke, and he was working on it too. Remember, he revealed in the bubble, he spent a lot of time during the 4-month break, just kind of sitting in a chair, working on just trying to shoot different ways. It looked good at times, but he just needs to kind of really get better behind the arc. That'll help him a lot.
We're moving on. The games will continue. Coming up next, a schedule release edition of Fill in the Blank. That's next.